Michael Jackson about this whole business, because she did say that warned actually that any political strategy that undermines the work of NARA could have consequences for ordinary Jamaicans. Ms. Jackson described the matter as a shameful ball game of politics, and she argued that the focus should remain on rebuilding communities, restoring infrastructure, and providing support to people still waiting for homes, roads, schools, and other critical services. The JFJ says its position is not about political sides, but about governance, accountability, and ensuring that national recovery efforts are not compromised. Michael Jackson, the GFJ boss, joins us now. Top of the evening to you, Michael Jackson. Welcome to Lead Story.
Hi, good evening, Tyrone. Good evening to your listeners and viewers as well.
Michael Jackson, prior to making those comments, we did not have confirmation from the People's National Party that its members were actually, pardon me, behind those leaked voice notes. They were the ones in the voice note. We heard from the PNP president. I want to read a quote to you. This was a WhatsApp group formed by individuals within the party, and the views expressed were their personal views. The PNP president accepting that the party members were behind it. PNP party members were behind it. What's your immediate reaction to that admission?
You know, one of the things I look at, Tyrone, and it's important that before I even answer that question pointedly, I put in context for the listeners that JFJ ordinarily we wouldn't be speaking on these matters because it's not within our mandate. However, because of its implications for NARA and the fact that we have spoken publicly on NARA, I felt that we would not be fulfilling our duty as an organization had we not spoken on these issues. And I just wanted to put that in context so viewers can appreciate why it is that JFJ is speaking on this specific issue. Having listening to Mr. Golding yesterday, last night I believe it was, I believe his response was woefully inadequate by simply stating that these persons are a part of the PNP but do not represent the PNP. It is not enough. So while we welcome the distancing of the position from the People's National Party and the parliamentary opposition, I think more was needed by way of strong condemnation of the words that were spoken, especially by the gentleman in the recording, given its implications for how we would be rebuilding the governance issue here. And for the People's National Party in their parliamentary opposition role to maintain any credibility, to speak on NARA in the future, and it will be necessary for them to speak on NARA, then I believe, again, this is why the utterances and the comments from the party leader is inadequate, Tyrone.
So inadequate, I'm hearing from you, Michael Jackson. You're saying the party president, PNP president, should have gone further. Absent from his remarks, no condemnation of the comments, no reprimand, no rebuke of the parties involved. Was that a glaring error for you?
It was, because again, I want us to focus on governance, not politics as we look at it, where both parties do it and so on. I want us to move from beyond that. This is a core governance issue. Remember, Tyrone viewers, we operate in a two-party system. You want the parliamentary opposition to come before Parliament and say, this is what my MP in this particular constituency have observed. This is what my constituents are saying to me. These are the real issues that we have with this authority that has extraordinary powers. When there is a credibility issue at play, dare I say, any future comment from the People's National Party, when they are seated in Parliament, would be seen now as obstructionist, will be seen as lacking the moral authority and credibility to speak. So what those voice notes have done is to undermine the credibility, delegitimize any future commentary on NARA and what it takes really to monitor NARA and how it operates and so on. And I think that in and of itself is quite problematic, which is why it was necessary for the party president to come out and say, listen to me, this is what I've said to my councillors. While we will monitor NARA, we will do it to the utmost ethical standards going forward. And that is what the party stands for. So not only, again, is there a separation, a distancing, but you're reiterating, you're reaffirming the party's principles and ethical standards on matters of governance.
So I hear you on woefully inadequate, but let's stay on this governance issue. And because there is absolutely no good governance without accountability, Michael Jackson, I'm sure that's something that you would appreciate. What should be the measure of accountability that is employed here by the PNP president that would send the right signal to Jamaicans?
You know, what is missing as well, Tyrone, there are allegations of who the two members are in the voice note. I won't repeat those names because it was never confirmed. No, the party president said something when he spoke that he did not speak until 6 days later thereabout because he was waiting on the outcome of an investigation. Remember, there is nothing that Mr. Golding said that indicated what the outcome of that investigation was. Because let's be real, if it is that it's a WhatsApp group, off the top, you would know whether or not this WhatsApp group is an official group of the PNP or not. So no long investigation was necessary from that standpoint. So if it is that an investigation was undertaken, it would be incumbent on the party president to say, listen, these are the named individuals in the voice recording. I have since done X, Y, and Z to the individuals. And to take it a step further, I will be having conversation with all the councillors who fall within the divisions that perhaps would be affected by reconstruction efforts to indicate that they are aware of the ethical standards of the political
Michael Jackson, I'm going to press you on this one. I want to press you on this one before we run out of time. And it's still on this business of governance and accountability. Should the PNP president name the individuals and expel them from the PNP based on how egregious the error may seem in the eyes of the GFJ or well-thinking Jamaicans? Does it warrant that kind of show of force from the PNP president? Should these people be named and expelled from the party because of what they basically told the country that they're planning to do?
Let me say this. I think the individuals should be named. Whether or not expulsion from the political party is the way to go, I think it really depends on, what are some of the reasonable steps that could be undertaken for course correction within the People's National Party. I wouldn't want to make a pronouncement on that.
Is there course correction? Is there a possibility for course correction here, Michael Jackson, given what we've heard?
Well, I want to make my position very clearly known here, that I believe that the members within the voice notes, they've disqualified themselves from representational politics, given the governance issues at play. Now, if I believe that they've disqualified themselves from representational politics, I think the voters should be aware of what the governance issues are and make those demands. I hardly call for resignations, Tyrone, unless it is that I speak to my board.
But this sounds like a call for a resignation. You said they've disqualified themselves from representational politics.
I think they've disqualified themselves from representational politics, and that's the furthest I would be willing to speak on that particular matter.
And just so we're clear, you're saying these individuals shouldn't be put up again to face the public?
I think they've disqualified themselves, and if they put themselves up, I think the public should send a signal that this is not the type of leadership that I would want to be representing me in my constituency or division.
All right, so we need more from the People's National Party president. You've described his response as woefully inadequate. You're also saying the persons involved in the voice notes they've disqualified themselves from representational politics. Strong stance there. I think we have about 30 seconds, Michael Jackson. I give you the final word on this. Does it end there? Do we need to see more? It does appear the PNP isn't prepared to talk about this issue now. They cancelled a planned press conference. We've been making calls trying to get someone from the PNP to come on the program to talk to Jamaica about what really is happening inside the PNP and what actions will be taken against the individuals so fingered in this voice note scandal. Where do we go from here, Michael Jackson?
You know, because I'm speaking from JFJ, the organization, and not my individual capacity, my call here is for citizens to understand that you have independent civil society organizations. And when we speak on NARA in the future, I urge citizens to separate the monitoring efforts of independent civil society organization, and we do not be burdened by any thought process that any independent monitoring or criticism of NARA, constructive criticism that is, would be deemed as political, because we have to ensure that as citizens, we remain vigilant, because NARA is an extraordinary body and it really does require robust monitoring from citizens, media, and civil society.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director, Jamaicans for Justice, thanks so much for coming on to be with us. We appreciate the time and the thoughts.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Indeed, as the leaked voice notes, this PNP scandal deepens, yeah? No word, no additional word from the People's National Party. Yeah, we take a break right